The body corporate industry has been really screaming out for something authoritative, something that combines and puts the law together, because as you know, in practicing in this area, the law is so fragmented. You have to look at so many different aspects of the law and somehow bind them all together. The stakeholders are very diverse. There's so many body corporates popping up all throughout Queensland, and I think we're at a stage where we're looking at law reform on the horizon, and for very good reason. There's a lot of things that need to be reformed. The lineup of attendees will highlight many facets of body corporate law. It has many faces. There's so many stakeholders, peak bodies that play an important role in how they service the needs of people in Queensland. We've got stakeholders from body corporate, stakeholders that talk about planning and development. We've got systems delivery. We've got lawyers. We've also got academia. We've got owner representative bodies, ARAMA, Unit Owners Association. These bodies all play an important role in binding together what is body corporate law, as I see it anyway. In terms of the diverse speakers, I think you're going to learn about how complicated the body corporate law can get. And what I will say is this book wasn't easy to write. And I did ask myself why it hadn't been done before. And I think I know now why. 1,500 pages was a line that we drew in the sand. It could have been double that. There is a large body of case law. The case law, in many instances, is conflicting, can be distinguished very easily, and sometimes the decisions are wrong. So we had to look at a large body of case law, 4 researchers, 2 abroad, and 2 I'm extremely proud of Marissa Cheshire, who's there. Stand up, Marissa. You did an amazing job. She's now Judge's Associate to the Court of Appeal. Extremely proud of her, and she did an amazing job in doing a lot of legal research for me. And Dominic Fawcett, again, very proud of Dominic, Cause Chambers, Westgarth, and amazing work that they both did. So thank you so much. In terms of the difficulties, where do they start? Well, again, it's because the law is fragmented. You have to look at the anti-discrimination law sometimes to solve client problems. You need to look at the Land Title Act to get an idea about who's responsible for what kind of part of a wall within a building. So those kinds of difficulties permeate at ground level to body corporate managers, to lawyers who are trying to resolve these issues for clients. And what it's hoped is this book somehow, I won't say codify, but binds together the different elements. There's a lot of precedents in the book, and as Catherine mentioned, flowcharts. This is a concept that's not new. We have seen it in family law, where difficult and lengthy processes are tied together in some form of a chain of process. That's what the flowchart does. Unfortunately, you can't make the flowcharts too easy because you lose a lot of what it means in terms of the process. But you can't make it so complicated that it looks like an asteroid field either. So the thing about flowcharts is it had to be aesthetic. And what I will say is my right-hand person, Nazrin Dazieri, now stand up Nazrin, we worked together very carefully, long hours. We worked for 12 to 14 months on this particular textbook, and as I said, there were massive challenges in not only interpreting the law and bringing it back into the legislation, but actually having the flowchart make sense and look aesthetic, so people could look at it and actually follow it. So Naz, I will say amazing to work with you in this capacity, because I don't think we would have this level of clarity in the flowcharts without your expertise there. Of course, we work together very closely, and this type of undertaking has to be a team effort in many ways, because there's such a large volume of information out there. You need to be very careful about how you choose your cases, how you choose which flowcharts you're going to do, and we've chosen to pick particular topics that were highly prescriptive so that we could make flowcharts that made sense and that practitioners could use. One in particular is debt recovery. We extended the textbook beyond body corporate law. We go into issues that span civil litigation, bankruptcy, and those kinds of aspects that, as a body corporate manager, you may not completely think outside that box, but as a lawyer, certainly you'll be advising your clients about those types of things. So we've tried to encapsulate those remedies that are outside the scope of the BCCMA and really embed those in there. We've catered for property developers. We have a 200-page chapter plus on what really crept up on us as a planning act, which we then had to really drill very carefully and put together some very complicated flowcharts, because there's a lot of time frames and issues that affect planning and development there. So in terms of where to from here for BCLQ, it really is a matter of us keeping abreast of new developments, High Court decisions, new reform on the horizon, Airbnb, towing, pets, codification of particular rules, having perhaps debt recovery tightened up a little bit, maybe scale of fees for lawyers to address the issue of unreasonable cost recoveries. On the Gold Coast in particular, termination of body corporates, it's going to be a big thing. Those buildings are rusting away, a lot of them, and some people call it their home. So these are difficult things that the body corporate needs to grapple with, the body corporate law, and it will come down to managers, lawyers, and other industry professionals and peak bodies to really address the matter. We've tried to address it as it currently stands in the book, and again, we feel we've given it the treatment that each topic needed and drew together the different elements that really need to come together for each topic. I'd like to thank CCH. They really were very patient with this project. CCH allowed me a lot of depth of freedom. The book grew from a 200 to 300 page contract to 1,500 pages. So go figure how that can expand. But they did see the actual worth of expanding it, and as we started to develop the actual text further, it made sense, because you can't do Queensland legislation with the case law and the depth that we sought to do in such a short compass. We'll continue to update and work with CCH on the second edition and so forth as law reform happens. So again, I trust that you'll gain much value from what the speakers have to say, and I think they're at the cutting edge and they're at the peak of their particular stakeholders. So you'll hear from them some really insightful things. And again, thank you everyone for coming, and I do hope you get a lot of value. I trust you'll get a lot of value from the textbook. And I'll hand over to the first speaker, Gary.